911 emergency.
Oxnard Engine 2, stand by for emergency traffic.
Go ahead, Engine 2.
Oxnard Engine 2, a subject not breathing at 454, 454 South J. John. Front car is I-4, cross street is Woolley Road. Subject's a 42-year-old male. Information, he has a history of heart problem. Emergency medical dispatch in progress. Ambulance responding.
Oxnard Engine 2 responding.
Engine 2 responding. Oxnard Engine 1, Quad 1 injury accident. Victoria Avenue and Woolley Road. Run card is H3. 3 calls received. 1 RP device in the vehicle is overturned with 2 trap victims. PD ambulance responding.
Oxnard Engine 1 responding. Would you want to attack on that call?
Engine 1 responding. Captain 110.
Oxnard 1 responding.
Squad 1 responding.
Welcome to Fireline. I'm your host, Richard Hodge. We have a great show for you tonight. We have 2 good guests. I want to introduce them to you in a little bit. But before I introduce you to my guests tonight, we have a new recycling program. City of Oxnard is continuing a recycling program that we have, and it's oil recycling. These are recycling oil. Check these out. This is great. These are free. We have 6 fire stations in the City of Oxnard, and you can get one of these free containers at any of the 6 fire departments, fire stations in the City of Oxnard. If you was to buy this, $100. Come by the fire station, you'll get one free. Our show tonight is on hazardous material training. Hazardous material technicians. This is the first class of 1996 that's being trained in Ventura County. And before we go on to introduce my 2 guests tonight, we have a roll-in, and it's going to show you a little bit about the hazmat school that went on last week and prior to that, because it's a 4-week school giving every other week. Can we have that video, please?
Welcome to Point Mugu Naval Air Station. I'm here with lead hazmat instructor John Scheer at the first graduating class of 1996 at Point Mugu Naval Air Station. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
John, how many men and women are in this class?
There's 39 individuals from the various fire departments throughout Southern California.
How long does the class last?
This is a 160-hour state of California approved course.
This is the grand finale graduating week?
Yes, tomorrow we'll be graduating 39 new hazmat technicians.
That was a great video. I'd like to introduce the two instructors that I have on the show tonight. First, I'd like to introduce John Scheer, and he will tell you something about himself. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you.
Tell me something about yourself.
I've been a federal firefighter for about 12 years, the last year of which I've been stationed at the Naval Air Weapons Station, Point Mugu. I've been involved in hazardous materials team operations since about 1991. Became a certified hazardous materials specialist in 1992 and a specialist technician instructor in 1994.
And I would like, thank you. Steve Baker. Welcome to the show, Steve. I understand you work for Ventura County Fire?
Yes, I do.
Tell me something about yourself.
Okay, I'm the hazmat officer for Ventura County Fire. I've been there about 5 years and came from private industry where I'd done a variety of jobs, chemical engineer, some other things, and jumped into to the fire service. They wanted to take advantage of my chemistry background, so it's kind of a specialized position there, but I went through technician and specialist training. I got a certificate in hazardous materials management.
Where'd you go to school
UCSB. I went to school in Fort Collins, Colorado State University.
And your degree's in what?
Microbiology.
Wow. That's impressive. And you've been a fireman 5 years.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
John,
enjoying it.
how did you two get involved with being lead instructors in hazardous material technician class for Ventura County? Since you work for Point Mugu, and he works for Ventura County.
Basically came about because of the new regional hazmat team. There are several committees, one of which is the training committee that's responsible for maintaining the training of all 5 teams that are involved with the regional program. The instructor cadre was made up of myself and Steve as the course managers, and then we used a lot of the other hazmaters that are from the various departments here within the county, as well as people from the railroads, Department of Justice, FBI.
Steve, if you're not trained here in Ventura County, this is the first class of 1996. I know you have to go up north to San Luis Obispo. Is this more cost effective to be training our firefighters here, and plus Long Beach, El Toro, people from all over the state of Colorado? We're training them here. Is it more cost effective for the taxpayers in Ventura County to do this?
It's a tremendous opportunity for the people in this area and south of us, so that they don't have the additional expense of having to go to San Luis Obispo and get trained up there, and all the associated costs with housing and food and such things. It really is a very low-cost way to provide this training.
John, why have hazardous material teams to start with?
Well, we're in a chemical society. I mean, there's the same better living by modern chemistry. The teams seem to have to clean up what man has created, whether it's intentional dumping or a truck rolling over on the 101 freeway. Our day-to-day is we deal with hazardous materials, and it's whether we have to deal with the uncontrolled releases.
Steve, how many different departments were you teaching this time, and how many firefighters? Oh, and wait a minute, another question. You not only teach firefighters, but you teach people that work for private companies too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we try to provide as much training to as many people as we can hit. This hopefully reduces the likelihood of any terrible hazardous material incidents through education. And on this particular training, we probably had 6 or 7 different departments represented. There were approximately 35 students in this class. That's a good-sized class, and we covered a real wide area, so I'm real pleased with that.
Your expertise is chemistry, so you teach chemistry to these firefighters?
Yeah, John roped me into being course manager for 2 weeks to provide the 2 weeks of hazmat chemistry, which is painful to all. It's a guarantee. But this was a very good class. They worked real hard. You feel like you're drowning for a while, but then they came out on the other side.
I have to give Steve a lot of credit because basically you take 2 semesters of college chemistry and you push it at this group of people in 2 weeks. And being it was Steve's first chemistry course, did an exceptional job. We really went well.
Steve's expertise is chemistry. John, your expertise is?
Basically the nuts and bolts, the field operation stuff, the plugging and the patching, which is out in the field on an actual incident. I'm one of the guys that
hate to interrupt you a second, but we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back. here with my two guests tonight, John Shearer and Steve Baker. First, I'm going to come back to Steve. Steve, it's a 4-week course. You taught the first 2 weeks. Tell me something about it.
The first 2 weeks are very intensive hazardous materials chemistry. It's essential that they get a foundation of chemistry to understand how hazardous materials work and the reason why we're having a hazmat incident. So what we do is provide them primarily with organic chemistry, which is pretty tough for a lot of these firefighters come in, haven't been in school for a long time, and now we're throwing college chemistry at them. But we cover a week of that, and we do get into some field identification techniques which utilize real simple field testing analysis to try to determine what an unknown material that they might encounter in the field is, and this will tell them what the hazards are and how to proceed with the incident. And we also look at monitoring equipment, how monitors work, what they're best utilized for also in those first 2 weeks. But it's pretty intensive on the chemistry.
You're the chemistry guy. John, you're the nuts and bolts guy. Isolate and deny entry?
A little bit past that. Get into a lot of the protective clothing. It's the first time for many of them to get into the level A suit. We're often termed as plumbers in spacesuits, and they learn about it. They get out and do some plugging and patching in the suits. We teach them some specialized things about clandestine drug labs. It seems to be the new rage for us is chemical and biological terrorism, and they receive training on that. Highway vehicles, railroad, ships, aircraft, a lot of specialty things, oil transmission lines, and you know in Ventura County we have a lot of those things. So they get a little bit of insight into the various things that we will have to respond to, and then in the final week they get to put it all together, actually going out and using the plug and patching kits, and then they start doing some scenarios, trying out those new skills and seeing where they go with them.
I was on City of Oxnard's first hazmat team, and I spent 3 days in a Tribex suit at Seacliff, and then I would like to remind everybody in the City of Oxnard that train crashed on a flat railroad track, and it did come through Oxnard before it got to Seacliff. We have a tremendous amount of hazardous materials that come through this city, and it's a real danger, and I don't think people realize it.
Absolutely.
Two major north-south transportation corridors, the SP line that runs through downtown Oxnard and Highway 101.
And harbor as well. So we cover all the bases.
Well, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to some video in a second. When you say a level A suit, I want you to point out to our viewing audience that sometimes is national, that what a level A suit is and what levels of protection the men and women are wearing that's in this video that we took a few weeks ago. And if we can have that video, maybe? Go for it.
Well, right now they're doing some plugging and patching on, these are 55-gallon drums, and probably a large majority of the responses. What you see them in here is what we would call level B. The only thing that would be missing is the self-contained breathing apparatus. We've given them a whole bunch of different variety of holes and tears and a lot of tools and said, have at it, try to stop these leaks, and they become real challenging.
A variety of different kinds of equipment that are available, from inflatable type devices called vetter bags that you can wrap around a container like this and inflate, to just simple sticky stuff that you can put on a tear in a drum or a container. All different kinds of ways to do this, but these folks that are becoming technicians have to get their hands on it, and that's what we want to provide them.
What is this here?
We're looking now at a chlorine 1-ton container. We find these at our water treatment facilities. This is what is used to chlorinate our drinking water. And this is a real labor-intensive operation, generally 3 or 4 responders. The first time we let them experience it, they're basically in rain gear and helmets and stuff. When they do it for real, they're going to wind up being in an encapsulated level A suit, and we'll see those a little bit later in the tape.
This you can see the what's called a B kit in place. It's heavy, it's hard to handle, and these folks were just doing it without the full level A suiting on.
What are these people doing?
Here they're doing some damming and diking exercises. Hazardous materials do one of 3 things when in water. They either float, hydrocarbons such as gasoline, They swim, alcohols, some acids to like just mix in with the water, and then we get sinkers, pesticides, highly toxic materials, and they just learn different damming techniques.
See, Michael Malley, what's he showing you here?
Right here, he's applying a kit to a 100-pound cylinder. So this would be called a chlorine A type of kit. And then they have a valve tree that they're trying to stop quite a leak here.
This represents a fixed facility. Say, for example, after the Northridge earthquake, a chemical processing facility having a lot of leaks, and they go in and there's like 20 different leaks on this one prop. They have a lot of fun and get real wet with it.
And they're working with water here, of course, but it could be any number of hazardous materials or chemicals involved.
One of the things I think is real interesting about this is most of these folks in protect this group, you have 4 different agencies here: Coast Guard, El Toro, CDC, and I'm not familiar with it. And they've never worked together before, and this is the one time they all come together and just do it.
What are they doing here?
Right here, they're being instructed on how to use a drum thief, it's called, to take a sample out of a drum and try to maintain its stratification in the barrel. There might be a number of different substances in here. Interesting thing is we're utilizing, again, a different agency to do some instructing here, an environmental health person. And he's showing the different stratified levels, showing different materials in a single drum.
And the tube, you can see there's like different colors of liquid in it.
Right, and they could have totally different properties, so it's important to realize that.
What kind of suit's this?
This is the level A suit that we were talking about. This is the first day that they ever got in a level A suit, and we put them through a little obstacle course, some lifting, pulling, pushing. We did it around our station. In this case, it'd be like climbing up on top of a rail car and doing some work, so they have to learn to climb ladders and things like that.
Not an easy thing to do in these level A suits. You sweat probably 5 to 10 pounds off in there, and it's hard to see. You're looking through an SCBA mask and then the outer mask of the suit itself. Dexterity is severely limited. This is a tough course.
We try to get them used to climbing under things, over things, shoveling dirt, a whole conglomeration of things, nuts and bolts.
You see this guy handling a washer. Now, without 3 layers of gloves on, that would be no problem, but it really presents a challenge with at least 3 different layers of gloving on.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that's hard to do when you're in these suits.
Absolutely, absolutely.
For some of these people, there's even claustrophobia to worry about. Being encapsulated like this provides a lot of stress to them.
Well, the pictures that you just saw was Ron Brubaker is our director. He's in the booth. I can almost see him sweating from here. And I know he said it was hard. We've all been in level A suits, and those suits are zipped up by somebody else, and you can't get out of them. And they're airtight, right?
Airtight, and we disarm them. No buck knives, no hand grenades, or anything like that. So once you're in, you're in.
It's hard to get out of those.
These things are impervious because
we hope so.
We don't want anything to get into these suits with.
That's the idea, and you have a sort of a positive pressure mechanism inside there that will not allow a chemical to get inside the suit.
And it's very awkward to work in these suits. What was your, John, you've taught these firefighters for the last 4 weeks. What was the best part of the class for you?
I think the fact we had so many different agencies from all over, and it was the first time that all of the 5 departments in the county that run hazmat teams were able to get together and put this course on. And I think in the future we're going to do a whole lot better.
What was it like teaching the El Toro guys?
They're an interesting group, but a lot of fun. I think as an instructor, I learn probably as much from the students as I do teaching, because they bring some new ideas in, and that's what makes these courses so fun.
Young guys, different people from all over the state of California.
Yes.
Steve, for you, what was the best part of it?
You know, the best part, Richard, was actually seeing them be totally lost and frustrated, and then come out at the other side of that and pass the test. Everybody did very well on the final exams at the end of each of these weeks. They have to take a test. So it was real gratifying to see them be so frustrated and then have it all come together for them.
Steve, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show.
Appreciate it.
John?
My pleasure, thanks.
2 very well-informed firefighters, and we're proud to have them working in Ventura County, working for us and teaching the different agencies throughout the state of California, and all of us. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank
and
you
we'll be
for
right
having
back
us.
after this break.
On August 21st, the Naval Construction Battalion Center will be celebrating its annual Multicultural Day. The event will include cultural displays, music, and dancing that reflect the diversity of our universe. Everyone is invited to participate. Call 982-2056 for information and applications. The deadline for applications is May 15th.
Welcome back to the Firehouse. We're getting ready to do our segment of the show, which is called City Update. My guest tonight for City Update is engineer Tom Sugawara. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Hi, Richard. How you doing?
Tell me something about yourself, just real quick.
Real quick, started in this department in 1977, was a firefighter for 18 years, and then finally made engineer and enjoying the good life, which you do right now.
Well,
engineer, driving that fire engine.
Driving in fire trucks fast.
You bet.
Tom was at a fire 2 weeks ago.
About a week ago.
And not only he was the engineer at the fire, but you had your video camera?
Had my video camera and took pictures of what I could, while also putting the water out onto the fire.
Well, right now we're going to go to the video, and Tom's going to narrate it.
This picture here is showing the big fire right now of a trailer that was converted to an office. This is an auto body shop on South Oxnard Boulevard. Unfortunately, I had my camera on zoom, but the flames look pretty impressive.
A lot of fire there, Tom.
There's a lot of heat and everything. We had 3 engine companies and our light force respond to this. We had to lay our own supply line for getting water onto this. We pulled 2 1.5-inch lines to attack it. And then we decided to open up our monitor, our large master stream nozzle on it, which you see here, to kind of cool it down for the firefighters and help out on the attack. I know it looks a little gray right here, and this is one of the firefighters getting some equipment off of my engine. And you can see in the back part there where it flares up a little bit. Initially we have knocked it down, and then it starts coming back at us. We had a...
Where was this fire located at?
The address was 1623 South Oxnard Boulevard. This is about 4:30 in the morning, and we had a good time out there.
Looked like a hot fire.
It got real hot in there. Probably after 2 minutes upon arrival, the floor was already consumed for the most part of the trailer. And off to the right there, you could see where it's really stubborn in that one little corner. And my understanding that one of the guys that sleeps here as a security guard on the property happened to be sleeping there and heard a little hissing sound in the back of it and called 911, and here we are.
So not only were you trying to protect your exposures, you were trying to put this fire out too.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty busy for me for a while there. And I was fortunate enough to have my camera and take these pictures for this program. It seemed to work out pretty good.
Who was the captain on the call?
My favorite captain that I work with, George Todd. Here he is coming into the picture right here with our fireman, firefighter actually I should say, and ripping up the wall there and putting it out, the stubborn part, which is up in the front there.
You're from your fire station, Station 3?
Station 3 on Hill Street, the busiest station in Ventura County.
Hill and Saviors.
Hill and Saviors.
Hill Street Blues with George
That's
Todd.
it. We had a good time.
There you are right there
There
at
I
the pump
am
panel.
at the pump panel, taking a little short breather.
Welcome back to the Firehouse. I'd like to thank my guest tonight for the city update portion of the show, Tom Sugawara. Tom?
You're welcome, Richard.
Great
welcome
video.
to be here.
Thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
I would like to thank all the staff that works on Fireline. We're all off-duty firefighters. We produce this show for you, the viewing public, at no cost to you, the taxpayers. Remember, Firelines, we're on a new time slot. We're on Mondays, 6:30, Channel 19, Jones Intercable. Remember, Mondays, 6:30, Channel 19, Jones Intercable. David Keith and Street Beat is on after our show on Mondays. So tune in to Street Beat after you watch Fireline, Firefighter Television.
Oxnard Engine 6, Quad 6, standby for emergency traffic.
Go ahead for engine 6.
Oxnard Engine 6, Quad 6, vessel aground in the surf. Manly Beach Road at Whitecap Street. Run card is J4. Switch to the Coast Guard frequency Alpha 21. PD ambulance responding to information. Call came through the Coast Guard.
Engine 6 copy, engine 6 responding, switching to Coast Guard frequency. Squad 6 responding, switching to Coast Guard frequency.
Squad 6 responding. Oxnard Engine 1, Engine 5, Squad 1, Truck 1, Battalion 2. Structure fire at 10156, 10156, C. Charles Street. Cross Street is 3rd Street, run card is B4. RP is advising there's a 2-story residence with smoke showing.
Oxnard Engine 1 responding.